Today I have such an exciting video. Palantir stock has been on a huge run over the past few weeks. The stock is now up over 480% since I made this video last May, where I went through why the stock is such a huge opportunity and why I was loading up on Palantir stock. In fact, Palantir is up over 70% and hit a new all-time high since my video last month, where I talked about catalysts that were going to drive the stock to new all-time highs. But the important question now is, can Palantir keep going up? Can this rally continue, and can Palantir become a millionaire maker that we all believe it still can be? In the past couple of weeks, we have had huge institutional buying and selling, big news, and even bigger fluctuations in the price. If you follow the stock, then you know just how much Palantir is growing. But I also have one small warning for investors later in this video, and you can decide if it's time to buy, sell, or hold Palantir stock. Stick around to discover how you can make the most of this pivotal moment in Palantir's history. Now, we've got a lot to get through in this video, so I will try to keep this short, but if you find any value in this, can I ask you to smash the like button? It literally costs you nothing, but it helps me out so much. I'm aiming to get 500 likes on this video. Help me achieve that goal. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on new content like this. I want to point out that I'm not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice, so always do your own due diligence. And try to answer the question later in this video, but for now, let's get straight into it. So what is Palantir Technologies? Palantir is a software company that builds the world's leading platforms for data-driven operations and decision-making. Palantir specializes in data analytics. Its software lets businesses capture and integrate data, develop and manage AI and machine learning models, and build applications that incorporate those data sets and models. These applications help workers make better decisions, and Palantir develop long-term partnerships with organizations, working together to help them realize the value in their data and transform how they operate. The company provides solutions for many industries, such as automotive, cyber, financial compliance, law enforcement, and defense forces, among others. It serves various private enterprises, public institutions, and non-profit organizations. Palantir is a fully global company and has operations in North America, Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, but Palantir is headquartered in the US. So that's a very simple breakdown of what Palantir is and what they do. So we just had some more great Palantir news. Palantir has been selected by Space Systems Command to provide Space C2 data platform solutions. Through the award of a $217 million delivery order under the Data Software Service IDIQ, SSC has selected Palantir USG to provide Space C2 data platform solutions capable of operating in secure environments and providing data products and advanced analytics to the DoD and Joint Force. And this is on top of all the great news coming from the company lately. It's no wonder that Palantir has been the best performing S&P 500 stock over the past year and hit a new all-time high last week. But earlier today I seen this headline: Palantir stock dips amid US credit rating downgrade. I've seen so much talk about it over the past weekend. Last week, Moody's cut the US credit rating from AAA down to AA1, expressing concern over the government's ability to pay back its debt. Now, many people expected this to crash the markets today. Many people expected most of the big stocks to plummet, and I was seeing this all over YouTube, Reddit, and StockTwits over the weekend. Now, I addressed this over the weekend in the comments to one of my videos. I don't think it will be major or have a lasting impact, to be honest. This is not the first downgrade that the US debt has had. S&P became the first big credit agency to strip the US of its credit rating, and the S&P index dropped more than 6% the next day. Markets also fell in 2023 when Fitch lowered its rating, but it dropped far less, about 2% over that week. So the picture that I was seeing painted all over social media over the weekend was that this rating downgrade was all doom and gloom. The market was going to crash and this was the end. The US will default and a major worldwide crash is about to happen. I think this is most likely either clueless or simply just clickbait. That's my opinion anyways. So just look at this here. Fitch downgraded US debt right here, and S&P downgraded it over here. Yet look where the market is right now. Neither of these downgrades had a lasting impact. In fact, the market is up nearly 1,000% since the S&P downgrade. Anyways, Looking at the Palantir charts over the past 3 months, we can see a number of interesting things here. First of all, the stock is on a strong upward trend over the past 6 weeks. Having gone as low as $66 back on April 7th, Palantir stock actually ran up over 100% since then, and although it has dropped a little last week, PLTR stock is still sitting in a very bullish position right now. Palantir hit a new all-time high last week, so a little pullback was not completely unexpected. But since April 7th, Palantir has been recording higher highs and higher lows, confirming this trend on multiple occasions. Even with the pullback last week, it still sits nicely in this trend. However, I do expect the stock to drop a little more this week, possibly down to about 120, before moving back up again. Looking at the MACD and RSI indicators, these seem to confirm my thinking, as both of these are indicating that the stock still has a little bit further to fall before we see the next move upward. As long as we stay above $114, the trend remains intact. But what do professional Wall Street analysts think about Palantir stock right now, and do they rate Palantir as a buy? Looking at MarketBeat, we can see that the consensus price target for Palantir stock is just $83. This is according to 23 Wall Street analysts, and this is a long way below the current price of $125. Out of the 23 analysts, 3 have given a buy rating, 5 have given a sell rating, while 15 have rated the stock as a hold. But not too much has changed here. Wall Street have always tended to be skeptical on Palantir. As we look back to when the stock was trading between $10 and $20, the majority of analysts were rating this stock as a hold. Now the stock is 10 times that, and it's still that the majority of them are still rating it as a hold. Now the most recent of these was set in the past couple of weeks, but interestingly, all analysts have been increasing their price targets, with Wedbush analyst Dan Eves going as high as 140. Now this is a very interesting article. Palantir stock versus Nvidia stock, billionaires buy one and sell the other. This is highlighting that both Israel Inlanders, Millennium Management, and Ken Griffin's Citadel each bought nearly 1 million shares of Palantir recently. Clearly the business is firing on all cylinders, but the stock commands an absurdly rich valuation of 64 times forward sales. Which leads me on to this. Palantir is the most expensive mega cap in history, but should you buy Palantir? So PLTR stock is the most expensive mega cap ever, but Palantir's unique government position, high margins, and AI leadership are key strengths, but competitive risks and margin pressures loom. Despite the risks, I remain bullish and see PLTR stock as a buy, betting on surprise outperformance, similar to early Nvidia. So now guys, this is a long article and I will be skipping most of it. I just want to point out some key points, but I have put a link to this in the description below. Now you should be able to read this without a Seeking Alpha subscription, but if not, then you can use my link below to get a 7-day free trial. It's well worth checking out. I have put links to this in the description below. Does Palantir deserve this valuation? Well, after recent earnings release, Palantir is showing some encouraging trends. Year-over-year growth was impressive on most segments, commercial revenues grew 70% year-over-year, and government revenues also showed strength. For the full year, Alex Karp expects revenues to grow close to 31% for full year 2025. This will translate into income from operations of about $1.7 billion. The compelling thing about Palantir is that this could be on the cusp of redefining business while also benefiting from a secular growth in defense spending. So looking at the bull case, how high could Palantir go? The bull thesis relies on Palantir maintaining a monopoly-like dominance on AI in terms of enterprise software and even government contracts. The market is certainly there. Defense spending will reach $1 trillion by 2031, and a higher proportion of this is going to go to Palantir. The other big avenue of growth is enterprise software, which will be worth over $500 billion by 2030. We are in the early innings of a big change, according to Alex Karp. AIP will make businesses 50 times more productive. But is Palantir going to be the only company capable of doing this? If the answer is yes, the investment is a no-brainer. Now, while it's unlikely to keep its monopoly and dominance indefinitely, The real question is just how long will this dominance last? We are still much closer to an early Nvidia moment where the market has yet to fully realize the importance of Palantir's product, and for that reason, Palantir remains a buy. But guys, what do you think? Is Palantir still a solid investment for 2025 with the stock near its all-time high and being the most expensive mega cap ever? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and always do your own due diligence. Remember that I'm not a financial advisor, but if you enjoyed this analysis, then please like and subscribe. I hope you make a load of money on this stock. Follow me on X, and I'll catch you in the next